From 20-year-olds with nothing to life on the farm. We didn't dream this up. It was a byproduct of us having a habit of dreaming together. When Christine and I went on our first date, we went out to coffee after having some pizza, and we were sitting there and we were talking. And while we were talking, I asked her, "Are we really doing this?" And she said, "Yeah." So I was a little taken aback because I was like, let's make sure we're having the same conversation. Are we really gonna do this? And she's like, "Yeah." It's like, okay, I think I just proposed. I didn't say that, but in my mind, and we both knew this, we had committed to having a relationship, a serious relationship. And that serious relationship allowed us to dream together. We sat there at that table, I know the exact location, and we started sketching our dreams out on napkins. I'm not joking, we literally started sketching gardens and houses and our lives. We started to realize that we were gonna need a place to live. Maybe we rent, maybe we buy, and I found this beautiful home. It was a crack house. It was horrific. Nobody thought I should buy it. My real estate agent showed up with a golf club in her hand, gave me the keys, and said, "Be careful." And I bought it. And over the next year and a couple months, I remodeled it. And that was the first time that we went from dreaming to reality. Part of this dreaming are these books. I have 2 books here. This is one of Christine's sketchbooks. And in this sketchbook, it's full of sketches that she made of kitchens and animals and love. And in this book is the foundation to our marriage. And this is what has allowed us to dream as much as we have and have faith that we are going in the right direction. When we got engaged, about a year after we started dating, Christine, in all her wisdom and brilliance, got this book. In the beginning of the book, she started writing and drawing. And the other side, I started writing and drawing. We started dreaming about life together and what our family would look like, kids, animals, but none of it was per se the farm. But what it was in the direction of what we both felt was going to be home. We talked about, I remember this conversation, we were in a parking lot. We were standing next to our cars. I was about to go back to college and she was gonna go home because we didn't live together until we got married. We're standing there talking and we're talking about kids and how many kids do you wanna have? 2? I want 2 as well. And then I think I kind of dropped a bombshell a little. I said, but I wanna adopt more after that. And she sat there and she thought for a minute and she said, okay. And that was one of those defining moments in our relationship where there was this give and take of like, And it wasn't a give and take, like she didn't want to have more kids and she didn't want to adopt. It was more of like a, I never thought of that. And after that, I proposed that we move to the middle of nowhere. And she didn't like that idea, so we never moved to the middle of nowhere. I mean, I can understand that now. It would be hard on everybody. But I certainly would love it because I'm very much an introvert. I know it seems hard to imagine that, but I really like my books and my music and my thoughts, my dogs, my boys, my wife, my daughters, my animals. But I can get sucked into that. It's very easy to get sucked into the isolationist mentality. And so it was something that we never did. We always focused on helping those around us. And that's not to brag. We got in a habit of just loving those who needed to be loved. But we've always had this focus that we knew where we were going. No, we didn't know exactly where we were going. We never imagined this. Not in 10,000 years would I have imagined this. But this is where we are. And it fits all our dreams. So it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns along the way. At one point, we lost our whole community. Everyone that we thought were our support structure, we lost everything. In another place, we lost our home because I got laid off. In another place, we were just plain broke. But each place taught us something. You know, when we went from Philadelphia to Baltimore, we found a community there of folks that just loved us. And during some of the darkest and hardest times in my life, there were people around me that loved me, supported me, helped me deal with things that I didn't know were inside me. And I just slowly started pulling them out, and these folks helped me heal. When we were in St. Louis, we learned how to be frugal. We learned how to take the little money we had and make it stretch. And it was amazing what we were able to do with a very small amount of money. And then a lot of that all came together when we landed in Oregon. I got a job offer, but it was going to be really tight money-wise. And we took it because it was work, and I needed work. And when we landed here, we couldn't buy a house because the fact that we had lost our previous home was still with us. We needed another 2 years before that would have been expunged from our record or from our credit. And so we rented. And it was something that went against everything in me as somebody who was trying to be frugal, is to rent. And I know that sounds backwards. You want to buy when you don't have much money. Well, I didn't want to lose my investment. So we found the most inexpensive place that would take us. 2 kids. Colette was 3. Clint was 1. And 3 dogs. Of course, 3 dogs. I mean, why wouldn't you have 3 dogs? And we did something really interesting. I negotiated to get a bonus the first year, even though I wouldn't have been at the company a full year. And they said, fine, we'll do that. So we took our first bonus and we put it in our savings account. And then we signed up for the employee stock purchase plan and 401k. And we lived off the money that was missing from our paychecks that was in our bank account from my bonus. That allowed us to buy this big 5-bedroom house right on the edge of the country, right on the edge of suburbs. And you say, why do you need 5 bedrooms? There was only 4 of you. Well, we had dreams. We had some amazing dreams. We wanted to foster and adopt. It was in our hearts, and we knew that we weren't going to buy a house unless it was big enough to be able to have rooms for kids to know they were welcomed and they would have space that was theirs, that they would have their own privacy. And during that time, we did do some emergency foster care, and we ended up adopting Clay. And that was also another dream come true. I remember the first day I met him. Oh, bugger's so stinking cute. He'd been about 15 years in the making. That's a long pregnancy. I'm just saying, for any of you women out there who've been pregnant, I've never done it, but Christine has. 15 years is a long time to be waiting for a baby to come. And that's how long we'd waited. We dreamt about adopting 15 years earlier. About a year after that, we started talking about buying a farm, homestead, something in the country that we could just be a little bit more sustainable in providing our own food. And so we ended up looking and looking. We couldn't find anything, and we finally found our home farm. And it took some convincing between the two of us that that's what we wanted, that this is what we wanted. It also took some convincing of the bank that I wasn't going to quit my job and become a farmer, because who would do that? And then we got here. And we started to raise our own chickens, and we raised goats, our own meat birds. Within a year, we were buying no protein from the store. We still buy no protein from the store other than an occasional smoked ham or something like that. And within a year, we were doing that. We started growing our own vegetables. We started fixing the fences, mending the property, fixing this beautiful guillotine door. I'll have to show you the view out this window. It's beautiful. Fixing the roof on the barn. And we just started working. It was just part of our dream. Was we had arrived at this place, we had dreamt of this place, and now it was time to put in the work. And along the way, we started dreaming about growing our family again. Sorry. And the miracle who is Cecily joined our family. I'll tell you the story about Cecily and Clay and how our family has grown and probably will continue to grow at another point. But that was another dream come true. And so we've continued to dream. You know, about 3-4 nights ago, Christine and I were sitting on the couch. The kids were playing with presents after Christmas. And we were talking, going back and forth. And for about 30 minutes, we were just sharing ideas about where we are, where we're going, the ideas of what we could do at Herman's, what we could do down here. And I turned to Christine and I said, here we are, 20 years later, and we're still dreaming. We got to where we were going by dreaming and loving together, knowing it's just a simple life. Thank you, Christine.